This PC right here is the Skytech Azure 3, one of the best price to performance gaming systems out there. So if you're looking for a price to performance reliable PC that will achieve high gaming performance in your favorite games, then you are in the right place. Throughout this video, I will be testing this computer at 1080p, 1440p and 4K resolution in different types of games, and I will also compare it with other pre-built gaming PCs in the market to see if there's actually a better deal than this one in case you're looking to buy a new gaming computer. By the way, I bought this system with my own money, so this review will be unbiased, and you will find the link to this exact same system down below in the video description with the latest prices and availability in your region. First, I quickly talk about the specifications for the system, and if you don't know nothing about computers, do not worry about it because I will try to be as simple as possible. That way you understand all of these components. Now, for the graphics card, which is the most important component when it comes to gaming performance, we get the NVIDIA RTX 5060 Ti 16GB model. Now, this is very important because the 5060 Ti has two models, the 8GB version and the 16GB one. You do not want to buy the 8GB model because you're going to be running out of VRAM if you want to play at 1440p on high to ultra settings in high demanding games, or even 4K depending on the game. Remember, I will be showing you the level of gaming performance in just a second. Now, for the second most important component, that's going to be the CPU. This is the brain of the computer, and this one has the Ryzen 7 7700, which is one of the best price to performance CPUs out there. It comes with 8 cores. It's a very complete CPU, which is going to be great for both gaming and content creation or productivity work in case you want to do more than just gaming. On top of that, you get a 1TB NVMe SSD, which is going to be the sweet spot, and you get plenty of airflow because you get 3 pre-installed RGB fans inside of this case, and you also get an aftermarket CPU cooler. Now, I have to say this PC looks very nice with RGB, and honestly, for the price that you are paying, you are getting a very complete system on paper. Now, before I compare price to performance to other pre-built PCs and I give you a more in-depth take, I want to show you the level of gaming performance that you can achieve. With the first game, we have a very high demanding one in Hogwarts Legacy, 1080p high settings, and I was achieving well over 100 FPS on average. In fact, in some areas I was achieving well over 130 FPS on average. So this is a great start, especially considering that this is a very high demanding title. Then I decided to test another high demanding one in Cyberpunk 2077. Once again, 1080p, everything set to high, and I was achieving 133 FPS on average. So as you can see, the Azure 3 is killing 1080p gaming, which is amazing if you have a 1080p monitor already. Now, what if you want to switch to 1440p, or what if you have a 1440p monitor? Well, in this same high demanding game in Cyberpunk 2077, I switched the settings to 1440p resolution, everything set to high, no DLSS yet, and as you can see in the top left corner, I was achieving well over 80 plus FPS on average. So amazing performance even at 1440p without any form of upscaling technology. And to show you how capable this system is, I then decided to switch to 4K resolution, which is the highest resolution, everything set to high, but this time with DLSS balanced, and I was easily achieving well over 60 plus FPS. In fact, I was reaching over 70 FPS most of the time. So if you are using the right settings, you can easily play at 4K even in high demanding games. But I have to specify here, you have to turn on DLSS quality or DLSS balanced, but this is a very playable experience and everything looks very smooth and the image quality is still amazing. In case you were wondering about esports games, I decided to test Fortnite, which is the most popular one, and I was achieving around 360 FPS on average. Sometimes I was achieving over 400, even 500 plus FPS, and then in other times FPS were dropping. I didn't notice any stutters, so it's very playable, but Fortnite is not very well optimized usually, and that's why the FPS number was all over the place, but the FPS average was around 360, so you can easily fit a 360Hz 1080p monitor in case you want to compete in this game. Which, by the way, I am using a 1080p 360Hz one in the Omen 25, so if you want to check the same monitor that I'm using right here, I will leave a link down below in the video description with the latest prices and availability. Last but not least, I decided to test CS2. This is one of my favorite esports games out there, and I was achieving well over 500 FPS on average, sometimes even hitting over 600 FPS. So if you want to play this game, you can easily play with a 540Hz refresh rate monitor, which is going to be a huge advantage if you want to seriously compete in this type of game. Same goes with Valorant and League of Legends. As you can see, in terms of pure gaming performance, this system is amazing, whether you play at 1080p or 1440p, or if you want to play at 4K and you are using the right settings. Now, keep in mind that if you play at 4K and you play easier to run games like GTA 5 or even Red Dead Redemption 2, you will have no issues, and you can even play without any form of upscaling technology if you want to. Now, in terms of connectivity, this PC has has 2 USB 3 on the front of the system with 1 USB-C, as well as a microphone jack and a headphones jack. And of course, on the rear of the computer, you have plenty of extra connectivity, so you will have no issues when it comes to it. And then if you want to control the RGB, you can easily control everything from the Skytech software in case you want to change the RGB settings, or maybe you don't like RGB and that's totally fine, you can always turn it off. Now let's talk about pricing, which is one of the most important things for a gaming computer or just anything in the market really. Now I bought this PC for $1,150, which was an amazing price. However, by the time of filming, it's not on sale anymore and it's going for $1,430. I would not recommend you buying this system for over $1,400. However, there's another Skytech Gaming Azure 3 on Amazon, which goes for $1,199 and it has basically the same specifications. The only difference is that here you get a Ryzen 5 9600X, but it's going to be basically the same when it comes to pure gaming performance. So I do recommend you grabbing that system. It's one of the best price to performance systems in the entire market, and I will compare it with another Azure 3 in just a moment. But for $1,199, I do think that it's an absolute steal, great gaming performance, specifications, and overall system. Now, you can also get it from the Skytech website, which by the time of filming is actually cheaper at $1,100, and I have an extra coupon code, so the total price after applying that discount is going to be around $1,070. By the way, you will have the extra discount code down below in the video description. So yes, you can spend even $100 less and get about the same level of gaming performance. Just keep in mind that the one from the Skytech website has an i5 14400F processor, which is going to be still pretty nice, and you will be achieving basically the same level of gaming performance, but it's a bit less upgradable over time. So if you're thinking of upgrading your CPU long term, let's say you want to go for the fastest CPU in the entire market for gaming down the line, well, having a Ryzen CPU is going to be better because you can upgrade up to a Ryzen 7 9800XT, which is the fastest one in the market for gaming. But in terms of pure gaming performance, the Azure 3 from the Skytech website is going to be very similar, and you are saving around $100 to $130. But honestly, this PC right here is, in my opinion, the best value one. Other systems with the 5060 Ti are quite more expensive usually, or they have a 5060 Ti for a cheaper price, but that's going to be the 8GB model, which I do not recommend you buying, because once again, you're going to be running out of VRAM. So be careful when shopping for 5060 Ti Prebuilt PCs, because sometimes they do not specify the exact VRAM, and then you end up buying one and it has 8GB of VRAM, which is terrible at this price point. Before giving you my final thoughts though, I want to give you some pros and cons for this system to help you decide on whether you should buy this PC or not, depending on your budget. Now, in terms of pros, gaming performance is number one, definitely. Amazing performance for just any monitor resolution, once again, depending on the game and depending on the settings. In my opinion, another pro is going to be the price. So this is by far the strongest point for this system, price to performance. And then another pro that I found is that it has no bloatware, meaning that you can plug and play. You don't have to uninstall any unnecessary softwares or antivirus out there, which is always a huge plus because, as I said before, you can just plug and play. Now, the only con that I found for this system is that it has 16 gigs of DDR5 memory. I would like to see 32 gigs, but as of right now in the market, memory has become very, very expensive. So I do understand why this PC has 16 gigs instead of 32 gigs. And honestly, every other Prebuilt PC in the market either has 16 gigs of VRAM at this price point, or they have 32, but then the other components are way worse and you are left with the worst gaming performance. So that is my only con. But once again, compared to other Prebuilt PCs, this is still the best price to performance in my opinion. And by the way, if you ever want more memory, you can upgrade it yourself by getting 2 extra sticks, because you can fit 4 sticks total instead of this motherboard. So if you really need the extra memory, you can upgrade it yourself. So as my final thoughts, this system is by far one of the best price to performance gaming Prebuilt PCs out there, and the only one that I found that was actually a better deal was the same one, but the one from the Skytech website. But even then, as I said before, you're getting a slightly worse CPU, so it's not going to be the exact same, but it is going to be very similar in terms of performance, and it's going to be quite cheaper, especially when you add the extra coupon code that you will find down below in the video description. Now, do keep in mind that the price might be different, so I do recommend you checking the latest prices and availability, and if I find a better deal than this one, I will also leave it down below. That way you get the best, most updated deal by the time you're watching this. And if you're looking for a Prebuilt PC for a different budget, let's say you have $1,500 to spend, or maybe you have less than $1,000, then I do recommend you watching my video on the best Prebuilt gaming PCs of the month for every budget and every resolution. You will find that one in the top right corner of the screen. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.